here. Breathe in. Keep going. Listen to your neighbor. Go ahead and sing the melody sometimes. Trade a part. Trade parts. When I breathe in, I breathe out peace. Breathe in, I breathe out love. When I breathe out, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. People get ready. There's a train coming. Don't need no baggage just to get on board. All you need is faith. Diesel's humming. Don't need no ticket, just to thank the Lord. Breathe out. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone, to this gathering hosted by the Unitarian Universalist Church of Bowling Green, Kentucky. Whether you are here in person or online, we are so glad that you are joining with us. And I also want to thank you, those of you who are in the space, for joining in this service. You are already participating in the service, and you will have more opportunities as the morning unfolds to participate as you're willing and able. I do invite you to consider participating as fully as you can this morning in order to get the best and most out of this experience. And as a part of that, please double check your cell phones, make sure they're on silent, vibrate, so that we can be fully present with one another. This service is being live streamed, If this large room is not comfortable for you, you can go to the Blue Lounge, which is next to the entrance of this building on that side, and you can watch from there. We are a welcoming congregation. Whoever you are, however you identify, wherever you come from, and whoever you love, you are welcome here. So our Sunday services are different each week, and I can testify at this point, this one's going to be one of those. So pay attention. This is so we can honor and learn from a wide array of traditions and beliefs. Today, our speaker is Ryan Thomas, one of our very own. And thank you so much for Ryan, for being willing to do this and all the creative talent you put forth. And I also want to welcome all the people that will be obvious and some that are not so obvious behind the scenes to make today happen. As this church congregation likes to remind each other, it takes a village. This morning, the topic that Ryan is going to share on is music, science, community, resilience. And Ryan has got quite a bio. I do not have it in front of me, but suffice it to say, he's been very active not only in our UU congregation, but at the UUA level as well, participating in many activities and being, in a lot of ways, a liaison between UUA and our congregation. So thank you for all of that, Ryan. And we will now, I would like to invite Calvin to come light our chalice. Thank you, Calvin. For Unitarian Universalists, the flaming chalice is a symbol of the light of learning and the love of our community. As our congregation's chalice is lit, for those of you who are watching from home, we invite you to light your own chalice. And now we're going to sing Rise Up, O Flame. Rise up, O flame, my glory, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Each week, we take a moment to read together some part of our Unitarian Universalist heritage. We invite you, as you are comfortable, to share in this affirmation by reading aloud. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of independence and mutuality. And now I'd like to invite Ryan back, front and center, who's got a treat for us. You going to explain what we're doing? Yeah. Okay.
So this is actually a good time for all ages. I see we have two youth in our midst. But of course, as is usually the case, this is for everybody. You know how when we think of music today, we tend to think of music in this performer-audience kind of scenario? John's talked about this in the past. Like there's a singer or band or orchestra and they're performing on a stage for an audience, right? Well, scientists suggest that for most people throughout history, that is a very recent and perhaps even an odd way to think of music. Because for most of human existence, music has been a communal participatory experience. And if you look at tribes around the world who've been unaffected by industrial civilization, you still see this. Some suggest that one consequence of this change in the way we think about music is the way we teach music. What happens when someone is learning music and they play a wrong note? Here is the right way. You must try harder, practice more. A scientist tells the story of a friend who learned music differently. When he made a mistake, his older brothers would play that mistake, and make it part of the music. If you're talking to a 2 or 3-year-old and you're trying to teach them the word blanket and all they're able to produce is blinky, what happens? The whole family starts to call it blinky, right? Or binky. Many of us have family nicknames because of this. My sister Nan, her real name is Leanna, is one. My son called his Aunt Betsy Bepsy for the longest time. It was so adorable. To quote neuroscientist David Levitin, part of music's healing power came from the community of it. When we look back in history, historical times, and again, still many places in the world today, when someone was sick 20,000 years ago, or in pre-industrial societies now, somebody's sick, the whole community gets together, and they sing, and they try to heal the person. Some of that healing effect has to come from the fact that everybody in the community is rooting for you. As we sing today, let's sing in a way that reflects that we are rooting for everyone around us, and that suggests we recognize everyone around us is rooting for us. That, who knows, maybe the mistake I will make will be adored and lifted up and even shape the next thing we do. So with that in mind, there's a song pretty much everybody knows, and it's often sung in a round. We're not going to do this in a highly structured way, but I will keep a beat. I will encourage you to sing with me. Feel free to start going in a round, and then embellish it, improvise, move on beyond the melody, and then we'll come back to the melody. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Ignore the slide. Row, row, there you go. Row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, 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 row. Row, 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 row. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, 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 row.
And on that note, we'll sing the children out. Oh, now in peace, may the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. We will now have a few moments for meditation, reflection, and prayer. The singing bowl will lead us into silence. After the silence, you're invited to join in the song Spirit of Life, which is hymn number 123 in the gray hymnal. The words will also be on the screen. At this point in our service, we would normally have something like a responsive reading. Since we want you to be a part of this service today, we are going to try responsive experiencing. Work with me here. Try to set up fairly straight and try to relax, shoulders and neck. And as you are willing and able, look to your left as far as you can comfortably go. Turn your head. And then let's bring it back to the middle and do the same to our right. Just ever so gently, as far as you can go. Let's bring it back to the center, neutral and relax. And let's try this one more time. I'm going to speak very little, and we will go a little slower. To your left. Then back to your right. And return to neutral. And if by chance you closed your eyes like me, maybe open your eyes now and think to yourself, what did I just experience? Carry that with you as I invite you, along with myself, to come with an open mind as we listen to what Ryan has to share with us.
You knew you would be prompted to have an open mind, but not so much patience, perhaps. Wow. Miranda, if you would play the video that we have, that would be great.
Memories that you have from music you heard as a child stay with you the rest of your life. My name is Dr. Daniel J. Levitin. Most of us know what kind of music we like, but we run out of music that we like. I mean, we've heard it too many times, and so in the future, doctors, music therapists, and others will help us to find music that will help us meet our therapeutic goals. In other words, if you want to relax, if you want to focus better, if you want to boost your immune system, we can get professional help at helping us to sort through the 200 million songs that are on streaming services. We now think that everything you experience gets into your memory. The reason you don't remember it all is you have trouble pulling it out. But music is this special stimulus that has a lot of different attributes, a lot of features. There's rhythm and melody and harmony and lyrics and the sounds of the different voices and instruments. Each of those gets stored into your memory separately and together, meaning that it's a very robust system. It's a memory system that can last all through your life, even if you get a concussion or you experience cognitive decline due to aging or Alzheimer's disease. In many studies, we put people in a brain scanner, an MRI machine, and we ask them to listen to music. And we don't give them any further instructions, other than that they have to stay still or the scan won't work. And what we find is the part of their brain that would be snapping their fingers or tapping their feet is active. It's almost as though they can't help themselves. They're not actually moving, but the part of the brain that would cause them to move is active because the tempo of music, the beat of music, is something that captures our attention. And there are direct connections between your ear and the movement centers of your brain. Another thing we find, we put people in an MRI brain scanner, and we find that their emotional centers become very active. The same parts of the brain that would be active if you were really thirsty and you had a drink, or if you saw some chocolate and you got to eat it, the pleasure center of the brain and the chemical dopamine is released when we have this pleasurable music playing. Another thing that happens in the brain is when you listen to sad music, there's a very interesting hormone called prolactin that's released. This is the same chemical released both between a mother and an infant during nursing. It's a soothing, tranquilizing hormone, which is why sad music sometimes is more healing than happy music. One of the things that my laboratory has tried to study is where goosebumps come from, that feeling you get of your hair standing on end on your arms or on the back of the neck. We often get that in scary movies. We can get it from a really beautiful piece of music, and we don't really know why that happens. We're working on it. It seems to be related to the fact that the auditory system is connected to the reptilian brain, the core emotional center of your brain, and auditory system is connected to movement. And the kind of movement you'd have to make in a scary situation, like a tiger coming towards you, that would make your hair stand on end and get your adrenaline pumping, seems to be activated by music as well, except not in a frightening way, in a pleasurable way. Pleasure and pain and fright are all somewhat related. They're only different in small ways as far as physiology is concerned. My lab was the first to show that when people listen to the same piece of music, even if they're not together, their brain waves literally synchronize. The brain activity is synchronized in time and in the regions of the brain. We're literally on the same wavelength. And if we're in the same room with people while we're listening to music together, say in a concert, not only are the brain waves synchronized, but we're experiencing an exchange of oxytocin, this hormone that binds us together as a people. Oxytocin played a role in ancient prehistory, in caveman days, where we would sing around the fire all night to ward off predators or a neighboring angry tribe, and we became bonded to one another. It's the reason that armies have marches. It helps them to feel more cohesive. I have a new book called I Heard There Was a Secret Chord, Music as Medicine, and it's about how we can use music to cure ourselves of illnesses or to get ourselves in a situation where we don't get sick in the first place. So one example of music as medicine is that if you listen to music that you like, you can boost your immune system. If you learn to play an instrument, you can get better eye-hand coordination and build up reserves in your brain that allow you to be in a better position to fight off infections and fend off disease. And if you're sick or in pain, music has been shown to be a natural pain reliever to help us fight infections such as colds and flus. Another example of music as medicine is we find that people who are depressed can use music to lift them out of the depression even more effectively in many cases than drugs or therapy. Most research starts with an observation. Your uncle tells you a story at a party, or you read something in the newspaper that's just a story, and you think, well, maybe that's true, maybe it's not, let's test it. And so in the case of depression, people have been using music to cure depression for 20,000 years, but does it really work better than anything else? In collaboration with my colleagues at UCLA, for example, we get people who are depressed and the depression hasn't responded to drugs or to talk therapy or to something called TMS, which is a magnetic stimulation of the brain. We play the music and we find that they are able to recover more quickly from the depression. Now, how might this work? How might music be causing us to get out of depression? Usually when you're depressed, it's because in some sense you feel misunderstood. Your friends, your parents, your family, the world has misunderstood you. And so the last thing you want is to hear happy music, because that's just somebody else who doesn't understand you at all. You put on the right sad music, and suddenly you recognize in the sounds of it, in the chords, in the song, that's how I feel. Often a feeling you can't put into words. And you realize, oh, I'm no longer sitting at the edge of the cliff by myself. There's somebody else there. They feel the same way I do. That's comforting. And then you realize, not only do they feel the way I do, but they somehow got through it, came out the other side, and turned it into this beautiful work of art. That's inspiring. One study that really surprised me when I was writing the book was there's a disease called multiple sclerosis, which causes, it's a degenerative disease, meaning that it causes a loss of the ability to move. And there's a therapy that was shown effective that involves people learning to play the piano, or if they were already piano players, to continue playing the piano, using their fingers on the keys, and that helps to restore their muscle and motor control. Now, you might think, well, if it's the rhythm of the music, then typing ought to be able to do it, or a metronome going click, click, click. If they learn to move to the metronome, or if they learn to type, that would help. But music is better. Why is that? It turns out it's the auditory feedback we get. Doing something and then hearing something strengthens the brain. So we now know from 30 years of studies that learning to play an instrument actually confers a lot of benefits to overall brain health. Musicians as a group tend to be healthier than non-musicians. Musicians' brains are wired differently than non-musicians, but really anything you learn to do changes the wiring of your brain. If you learn to play paddle, the ball on the paddle with the rubber band, if you learn to cook, that's what learning is. Learning is changing the brain. And so it's kind of a cheat to say, well, yeah, becoming a musician changes the brain. Everything changes the brain. Listening to this video changes the brain. Going to sleep and dreaming changes the brain. But what I think we really mean is, does it change the brain for better in ways that are special to music? And the answer is yes. Learning to play an instrument or to sing strengthens the connections between the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain, which allows you to integrate the more logical kinds of thought with the more exploratory, artistic kinds of thought. It enables better problem-solving abilities. There are some studies that suggest that learning to play an instrument early, when you're a child, help children to learn to read at an earlier age and to read at a more rapid pace, to read more quickly. That's a good thing. And we've seen that children who learn a musical instrument show fewer behavioral problems in school. It's not the case that they start out with different brains, it's the music training that does it. Another thing that music training does is it gives you a sense of mastery, of being able to do something that's really cool and really difficult, and the act of pushing yourself, just like learning to do track and field or to throw a football, you realize, oh, I can do this. I don't have to be the best in the world at it, but I can do it. I don't know that being a musician has made me a better scientist, but I think it's made me a better human.
Einstein is well known for the following statement referring to his discovery of the theory of relativity. He said, "It occurred to me by intuition, and music was the driving force behind that intuition. My discovery was the result of musical perception." Imagine Einstein saying that. Let's tuck that away in our memory for a moment. We'll come back to it. Who here has seen the recently released movie, The Testament of Anne Lee? Anybody? Well, for those not familiar, it's a movie about Anne Lee, the woman responsible for the Shaker religious movement in the 18th and 19th centuries. Of course, we have the small Shaker village just nearby here, South Union Shaker. Who has visited the Pleasant Valley, or Pleasant Hill Shaker village in Pleasant Hill, Kentucky? Quite a few. You can stay overnight, eat at a nice on-premises restaurant, take tours, even hear demonstrations of their music making. It's very interesting, I recommend it. For the Shakers, music and the embodiment of music, their shaking and quaking, was so significant an aspect of their religious expression that they are named for it. The filmmakers chose to hire musicians and choreographers to produce time period informed but not historically accurate music and choreography for the film. I was struck by this decision. It was clear that they wanted to try to help modern audiences connect to the passion Shakers felt for or from their music and their embodiment of it. This summer, I attended my first AUM conference in Atlanta. AUM is short for Association of Unitarian Universalist Music Ministries. I didn't know what to expect, but I was excited. Of course, being introverted, I was also terrified, but it was a beautiful experience. In fact, on several occasions, I found myself moved to tears, weeping in my seat. I had no real understanding of why at the time. It wasn't just the music. I mean, the singing, the harmonies, it was beautiful. But I was overcome with a feeling that I don't know how to describe or explain. Let's tuck that away for a moment as well. As we all know, science is marching ever forward with new discoveries. I've learned, preparing for today, that the past 20 years has seen something of a boom in research on music and the brain. And this is where I was going to show you the video. So you've seen the video. David Levitin you just had, in the past year, the book. I heard there was a secret chord, thank you. Some highlights from that. We've just watched it, but I just want to highlight some things that he brought out. Prolactin from sad music. Prolactin, the soothing, relaxing hormone found in infants when nursing. Dopamine, a chemical released when pleasure is experienced, a crucial modulator of neuroplasticity, driving the brain's ability to reorganize, learn, and form long-term memories. It acts as a signaling molecule that strengthens synaptic connections and facilitates structural change in neural circuits. Oxytocin is produced when playing or listening to music together. Oxytocin is a hormone and neurotransmitter produced in the hypothalamus and released by the pituitary gland, often called the love hormone or bonding hormone. It plays a critical role in social bonding, trust, sexual reproduction, childbirth, lactation. while also acting as a neurotransmitter that fosters emotional connections and reduces stress. A special note on oxytocin. Neuroscientist Alan Harvey found oxytocin levels are even higher, quote, when singers are improvising together. Regarding the how and the why statements Levitin made, his descriptions in this video are intentionally high level, and it's easy and I think reasonable to assume that these are just speculations as to the how and why. But from the time I was able to spend with some of these sources, this research, I was surprised by how much of music-related cognition and the semantics of meaning-making from music have been mapped to specific parts of the brain, not unlike the mapping of the genome. So when he suggests that we think about the songwriter and that what they were feeling and trying to express when we hear the sad music that resonates for us, that may not be proven, but it's not mere speculation. They see these parts of the brain that suggest that kind of thinking light up in their study. Regardless, a major point is scientists are establishing more and more that music has therapeutic value, regardless of our understanding of how it happens, though that understanding is also growing. Other neuroscientists, musical therapists, and music educators call out consistently that music listening and music making confers the skill of emotional self-regulation. And from longitudinal studies, that emotional self-regulation is incredibly valuable in attaining and maintaining a sense of well-being. Another neuroscientist, Heather Berlin, lifts up the idea of the evolutionary gift of pattern recognition and what it contributes to the interplay of higher order thinking and the more primitive reward system in our brains. When you listen to music, your prefrontal cortex is doing a lot of pattern matching. And that is a big part of the tension and release mechanism that drives activation of the pleasure centers when we listen to music. Every verse is a variation. A chorus is a refrain, usually with some difference. A modulation represents the same music, but in a new key. A shift of the same tune from 3/4 meter to 4/4, as with Bill Monroe's Blue Moon of Kentucky, the same, but different. Neuroscientist and music therapist Elizabeth Stegemuller builds on Levitin's point about music consisting of attributes that connect different parts of the brain and emphasizes the importance of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to foster new and good neural connections, sometimes in new ways, especially when old pathways are unavailable or damaged. As mentioned before, dopamine and oxytocin contribute to neuroplasticity. They've even determined rhythm fosters neuroplasticity. Because music is so comprehensive in connections throughout the brain, music uniquely affords therapists different ways to target new pathways to help patients address a variety of issues, from helping Parkinson's patients to walk to overcoming depression. The list of therapies is long and growing. Let's come back to Einstein now. In case you missed it, Levitin said near the end of the video, learning to play an instrument or to sing strengthens the connections between the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain, which allows you to integrate the more logical kinds of thought with the more exploratory, artistic kinds of thought. It enables better problem-solving abilities. Just to reinforce this, scientist Aidan Kang found that music contributes to divergent thinking, the ability to generate diverse ideas and solutions for a given problem. Of course, Einstein had no access to this neuroscience, but the neuroscience we have now sure makes Einstein's statement land differently, at least for me. It occurred to me by intuition, and music was the driving force behind that intuition. My discovery was the result of musical perception. Now let's return to my experience at AUM. Some of you may recall Tim McGahey's message on awe a few months back. If you Google sources of awe, you get this list. When I look at that list and the descriptions for each of these, all except for maybe the top one seemed relevant to what I was experiencing there at AUM. I now wonder how much dopamine and oxytocin has to do with some of these sources and with my own experience at AUM. Let's turn to recent events in Minneapolis. Clergy from many denominations were called to show up in Minneapolis last month. Many of our UU clergy and ministers of music were there. We saw clips of protests in Minneapolis. We saw young people standing up to protect their neighbors for their community. If it's possible to play one of the clips, okay, no worries. The feeling this invokes, so I hope y'all have seen at least some of those video clips that are in the news. Many of them were on the street, of course, but some of them were in churches where they were kind of organizing and getting things learned so that when they go out into the streets, they're familiar. When I witnessed those videos, it was a similar feeling what I felt when I watched those videos was similar to what I experienced. That kind of showing up for your community and singing together, that is who I like to think we are as UUs. Today, through a lens of neuroscience, we have touched on the power of music, how it can inspire the most transformative scientific ideas in our history, how it helps us connect with and bond to one another, how it helps us overcome barriers, how it helps us self-regulate, how it helps us heal. To use Alan Harvey's phrase, music is a social glue that clearly enhances a sense of mental well-being. Music, evolution's gift for embodied resilience. May we all find sources of inspiration and pathways to resilience in the days ahead of us. Sing out love.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. At this time, would like to extend an invitation to membership. If you have questions about Unitarian Universalism or about joining this congregation, please speak with a member of our membership team. Do we have anybody here today? Yes. We got 3 in the back and right here, 1 on front. Oh, right over here, thank you for that. So yes, and if you can't find them, just ask any of us. We'll get you pointed in the right direction if you just want to chat. You can also email membership if you're joining us online at membership@uucbg.org, and that is also the address to send many of the other things that I'll be referring to in a few minutes. On second Sundays after the service, you can join in a question and answer session with our membership team in the library. And now, as we transition to our offertory, we will have the music crew. Thank you, music crew, for entertaining us. Keep in mind that we have what we call Third Sunday beneficiaries. We accept money for our general fund to run the mission of the church, but then we have these Third Sunday collections, and this Sunday it is Feeding America. So anything that's not designated, cash or checks for your pledge, if you will go toward Feeding America. And of course, you can also designate on your check that you want it to go to Feeding America. And a little background as you're getting prepared, please be patient. Across the country, neighbors are leading the way, packing fresh food for families and facing hunger. That work is made possible through a nationwide network of advocates, farmers, and drivers, volunteers, and people like you, all working together to move nutritious food from farms to families. When you support Feeding America, you are helping local food banks, food pantries, and meal programs provide resources so people facing hunger can put food on their table. Warren County Parks and Recreation is proud to be a partner agency with Feeding America for distribution, commodity supplement food program in Warren County. This program is coordinated from the Ephraim White Gymnasium, Mount Olive Road, Bowling Green, on the second Monday of each month, 9 to 11. Your donation will go to our own community's local Feeding America chapter. Please give generously as you are willing and able, and remember, every dollar equals 20 meals. How's that for being efficient? When paying by check, please designate in the memo line Feeding America. Thank you, and thank you for the music we're about to experience.
I want to mention that you see Eliza and Ryan up there. We've got John on the banjo, and Calvin is joining us for the first time, yay, on percussion.
Trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I show up at the table again and again and again. I close my mouth and learn to listen. Oh, 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 oh. Shifted, it's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through backyards, wolves howling out front. Yeah, I got my crew, but truth is what I want. We aligned and on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the waters, women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system brought down to its knees. Whoa, 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 voice feels tiny, and I'm sure so does yours. But put us all together, make mighty I am resilient, I trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen.
We thank you for these gifts. May we use them wisely in the service of our congregation and our community. And now for some community news. It'll be a combination of me sharing from the slides and then a special announcement from Roxanne. The fellowship hall is still closed for repairs. The furniture for the children's RE has arrived, as a footnote here. Please come help put it together in the Emerson room during the social time right after the service. And if you'd like to help paint our new library during the upcoming week, there's a sign-up sheet in the lobby or write to library@uucbg.org. And yes, okay, that's that slide. We will now have a special announcement by Laura, or Roxanne, since she's here. Sorry about that. And so you got your copy? Okay.
Hi, I'm Roxanne. I'd like to invite you all to sign up for a tasty potluck brunch and to participate in a small group experience called Taste of Soul on Saturday, February 28th from 9:30 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. First, a little background. Last fall, our church acquired Soul Matters, a program for Sunday services and small groups related to a monthly theme. As you may recall, our monthly theme for January was Practicing Resistance, and in February, the theme is Embodying Resilience. So what is Taste of Soul? It is our introduction to a small group experience developed by Soul Matters program. The February 28th small group experience will encourage deep reflection and understanding of how we individually embody resilience at various times in our lives. Small groups are also a great opportunity to meet new people, to grow friendships, and to deepen our understanding of ourselves and of Unitarian Universalism. This spring, our church is starting new Soul Matters small groups, which will run from March through June. Check our upcoming March newsletter and weekly email updates for more details. Folks who participated in last week's Taste of Soul will be available during refreshments and fellowship right after the service to share their impressions of this unique small group experience. Please join us on Saturday, February 28th. The sign-up sheet is outside the sanctuary. Thank you.
Thank you, Roxanne. And now, some reminders about two upcoming events. UUCBG has been invited to tour the African American Museum here in Bowling Green, to carpool gather in our parking lot at 12:50 next Sunday. That will be February 22nd. Or you can meet at the museum at 1 p.m. And then also mark on your calendar, Monday, February 23rd, we will be hosting a National Moral Monday. The gathering will be from 11:30 to 12:30 with a lunch and fellowship to follow. And I believe, yes, for more community news, You can check the bulletin board outside, pay attention to the weekly and monthly electronic newsletters. And there's also a screen in the lobby that shows upcoming events. And of course, we have a website and Facebook page. Got to stay on top of all that stuff because we are a vibrant community with lots of things going on. And so now we will move on to our final music, our final hymn. We will carry each other. Do we have, is this a sing-along? Do we have words available anywhere? Watch your step there. Okay. Okay, so hopefully you can follow along with that. I'll let you intro it.
You may have heard mentioned that the UUA has a new virtual hymnal. So, you know, these teal and gray hymnals we have, there is now a new virtual hymnal, and it's called Sing Out Love. I'll be introducing some of these over the next few weeks, but this is our first one to introduce. So I encourage you to, it'll be new to you, perhaps, probably, but the chorus is wonderful, and we'll be singing it many times. I hope you'll join in and sing as you can. I am looking for shelter in the prayer. We can build a beginning, but I do not know the end. I am scared of breaking when I bend. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage.
our final reading today. This was a simple but profound reply of a man who had witnessed the early 1960s civil rights struggle in the Deep South. Paul Duke, a preacher, recounted how his friend, after seeing black Americans brutally beaten while claiming their rights, was asked if they could possibly win against the overwhelming forces of culture, law, and the FBI. His answer, they have songs. We hope you found this service meaningful, and we invite you to share your thoughts about today's service. You can send comments to Sunday services. For those who are here in person, there's a blue box out in the lobby where you can leave your suggestions and comments, or you can use the online form, and there is a link to it on our YouTube page, and the QR code is on the bulletin board and right there. Next Sunday, progress is possible, not guaranteed. Hope to see you again next Sunday. I'm going to now say farewell to those online. We invite you to join us again, either in person or online. Until then, be well and go in peace.